So I read Math is Like a Scary Movie, Helping Young People Overcome Math Anxiety by Margaret Culkin. And Margaret Culkin is a teacher, and she also works after school with students. And in this article, she discusses how when she was working with students, she realized how many of them just hated math and were just scared of it pretty much. And she had a few students who just compared it to awful things. And one girl said fractions are hard, they're burned like lava. And one little boy said math is like a scary movie. So she talks about how she wants to make that better for them. So she goes and explores STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and math. And she decides to conduct a survey over these students and figure out how to make their math anxiety better. Which this article also talks about where math anxiety comes from. And so she says, I'll give you the direct quote. It says, common characteristics of math anxiety include rigid thinking, lack of perseverance, poor and consistent performance, avoidance, and resistance to monitoring one's thinking about math. It says that math anxiety is an inconceivable dread of mathematics that can interfere with manipulating numbers and solving mathematical problems within a variety of everyday life and academic situations. So I think that really shows me how scary math can be for someone, because those are that's crazy. I mean, it's an inconceivable dread for some students, and that's just, it's hard to say as a teacher, I'm super comfortable in math, and so this article, I think, made me more comfortable in teaching math because she gave great examples. So for the student who said that it burns like lava, that student, she said, loves pattern, design, jewelry, clothing, and so she decided to take a lesson on fractions, which is what she was really scared of, and make it about a quilt. And so each patch of the quilt was a different shape, a different size, and they had to figure out how to fill up the whole quilt. And by the end of the time, the student said math is still scary, but it can be fun and easy like pie. And so instead of comparing it to burning lava, she compared it to pie, which, some people just really love. For the student who says math is like a scary movie, she figured out that he loved sports and he just loved to go fast on assignments and everything else. So she designed an activity that was based on his interests and would require calculating with decimals and finding averages. So what they did was they took a parachute and a little Lego man and they dropped it, and they found out the average of the speed of how fast it dropped. And by the end of it, he says math is like a book full of surprises rather than math is like a scary movie. And so what I just like about that is that it shows that student interest has a lot to do with how students learn and how they enjoy learning. And so if you're just sitting there up there lecturing and talking about you need to learn decimals because decimals you're gonna need them in 7th grade and all that stuff, I think it just makes it boring for the students and dreadful and scary. If you're going up there and you're comparing it to sports and you're comparing it to quilts and you're comparing it to swimming and you're comparing it to all these other fun things, students are going to be more likely to engage in the activities and learn it, and they're doing more hands-on things like she was using with this STEM project. I mean, students are going to be more engaged and less scared of math. I would love to use an idea like this for all of my students. However, realistically, I know that's not capable. I'm just not going to be capable of individualizing a math problem based on 25 to 30 different students' interests. However, if I really focus on the students who just absolutely hate math, dread it, and are scared of it and need help, I think I can make a difference. And that's what I want as a teacher, is to make a difference. So yes, I would love to practice this, and I would love to do more research on STEM and be able to use this type of focus. And she also mentioned that instead of performance goals, you focus more on mastery goals, and I think that's a great idea too. Because if you're focusing on how they perform during a test, you're not really focusing on their process and how far they've come. Yeah, you kind of are, but if you're seeing that instead of having an F in the class and they've completed all the way up to a C or a C+, then you can say that man, they're really trying and I see them working. We're going to keep working on them to get it better rather than just they got a C. That's not the greatest thing in the world. So yeah, I think this article was really helpful. Again, it is Math is Like a Scary Movie, Helping Young People Overcome Math Anxiety by Margaret Culkin.